Welcome to lesson number 2, calculating moles. Our lesson objectives: calculate moles given the number of grams, as well as calculate the number of grams given the number of moles. So in doing our mole conversions, if we want to convert from grams to number of moles, we're going to use the mole formula, which is this formula here located on table T of your reference table. The given mass is the mass in grams of the sample in the question. The gram formula mass is what we calculated in lesson 1. This is the mass of the formula in grams. And obviously the number of moles is what we're trying to calculate. So to convert from grams to moles, we're first going to calculate the gram formula mass for the compound, rounding to nearest tenth. That's what we did in lesson 1. And we're going to plug the given value and the gram formula mass into our mole calculation on table T and solve for the number of moles. So for example, if we want to know how many moles are in 39 grams of lithium fluoride, I first have to look up the mass of lithium. To nearest tenth is 6.9. The mass of fluorine is 19.0, rounded to nearest tenth. And when I add those together, that gives me the gram formula mass, or molar mass, which is 25.9 grams per mole. That's the gram formula mass. That's going to go in my denominator. The given mass is the mass that they're giving you in grams. So how many moles are in 39 grams? So that goes on top. And we divide 39 by 25.9, you get 1.51 moles. Notice that grams divided by grams cancels out, and that's why we're left with our unit of moles, is which we're looking for. Let's see another example. What is the number of moles of potassium chloride present in 148 grams? So when I have 148 grams, I want to know how many moles is that. So first, determine the gram formula mass. So for potassium is K, it's 39.1 grams. And for Cl is 35.5 grams. When we add those together, we get the GFM, or gram formula mass, which is 74.6 grams per mole. And when I plug it into my mole calculation, the given mass is on top. That's the 148 grams. And the gram formula mass is on the bottom, we just calculated, at 74.6. And when I divide, I get 1.98 moles. Let's check your understanding. Can you calculate the number of moles given the number of grams? Okay, now what happens if you're given the number of moles and you want to figure out how many grams that is? We're going to use the same calculation, the mole calculation, the same formula, but now we're going to be solving for the given mass. So we're going to put the number of moles over 1 and cross multiply. So let's see an example of that. What is the mass of 4.5 moles of potassium hydroxide, KOH? So same as before, we're going to determine the gram formula mass of KOH. So K is 39.1, O is 16.0, and H is 1.0. We add those up and we get a gram formula mass of 56.1 grams per mole. That goes here. We have the number of moles, which is 4.5, that goes here. And so we're going to solve for the top part, which is the given mass, or the mass in grams. And so I'll put that as my x. So now, in order to solve for x, we have to set this over 1 and then cross multiply. So 1 times x is x. 4.5 times 56.1 then gives me an answer of 253.5 grams. So 4.5 moles of potassium hydroxide has a mass of 253.5 grams. And if you round it to proper significant figures, since we have 2 sig fig here, that's the least number of significant figures, I'm going to round my answer to 2 significant figures. Let's see another example. What is the mass of 0.50 moles of copper sulfate? So first thing we do, determine the gram formula mass. So copper is 63.5, sulfur 32.1, and then oxygen is 16, but we have 4 of them, so 16 times 4 gives me 64. And then when I add that all up, I get a gram formula mass of 159.6 grams per mole. I'm going to plug it into my formula. So we have 0.5 moles equals X grams, which we're trying to solve for, the mass, over what we just calculated, that 159.6. Again, put this over 1, cross multiply, 1 times X is X, which is equal to 0.5 times 159.6. That gives me an answer of 79.8 grams. And for rounding to proper significant figures, since there's 2 sig figs here, we're going to round two sig figs in our answer at 80 grams. So let's check your understanding. Can you calculate grams given the number of moles? At this point, you should be able to calculate moles given the number of grams, as well as calculate grams given the number of moles.